Anywhere you go, give it all. Anywhere you say, anywhere you say.
Hello, everyone. My name is Viera Karam, and I work as a business advisor at BusinessOulu, and I mainly specialize in the clients coming from the international community of Oulu. And I can't really say what exactly, why exactly, let's say I was chosen in the interviews, when I was applying for the job. First, I was working at Usuridus Keskus, which now is like basically the same job that I'm doing in BusinessOulu. But I think a few things have helped me to get this job and, the skills that I've had when the position opened. I think the main thing for them was not even the education, because I don't have business education, but it was the ability to be accepting and listen to the international people, because quite often international people come with stories, with very interesting and deep, happy and sad stories that they have to tell. And so it's very important for BusinessOulu services to be able to provide a person that would, of course, consult, and provide the information they need, but also listen to them and hear them out and understand their position. And since I'm coming, from the international background in Oulu, first of all, I understand all the processes that international people have to go through, all the residence permits they need to apply, the migri issues. So I think it was really important for them to find that person who's ready to listen, who's ready to support international people and understands their position really well. Also, of course, the fact that I've had education in linguistics help. Even though I don't maybe fluently speak these languages, I still know enough to be able to give the main terms, explain the main things to them. So that was really important. And I also think that one skill that I kind of like came to understand that it's an important skill now is that I'm really, I think I really can explain very complex things in a very simplified way. Like I can take kind of chaos, and look at it from top and then kind of break it down into smaller, biteable pieces for people. So I think that was really important as well, and maybe that kind of came through when I was applying for the position. Um, then on the other hand, it's funny because I've never had actual education in business. I've never studied in a business school or haven't even had any business courses. But with my experience coming, from Ukraine, from the presentation design company, starting from there, I really worked a lot with companies and the content of their presentations and what they put there. So I've learned a lot about, business models, about pitch decks, about how companies work, what they're looking for, partners, clients, and etc. So that's, started there. And then when I came to Oulu, it all came into the entrepreneurship ecosystem here in the University of Oulu. So there I went through the startup weekend program. I went myself through that. I also organized the event several times. Then we organized other events from the Oulu Entrepreneurship Society, where I was on board for a year. In addition to that, polar bear pitching, working with many startups. So I did have a very, let's say, practical knowledge on what it takes to explain to people, or what it takes to kind of build an idea. What do you need to do in practice? And I think that was enough for the position at that moment. I was applying for an early stage business advisor. So at that time, I think this practical knowledge was really, really helpful. And in fact, I think that with that experience, I can add a little bit more to the services, not just explain how to register a company, but almost like how to run an Instagram page, how to ideate, how to brainstorm, like a little bit more than just registration of the company. So generally, when you have a business idea, any business idea, or even like if maybe you're not sure that it's a business idea, but something that you think it might be a business, you can come already to me. My colleague used to say, even if you have a dot on your paper, you can already come and talk to me about it. Or if you have a name of a business, you can come talk to me. There's no restrictions or no requirements for you to come and consult with me. Plus, our consultations are free, so you can book as many consultations with me as you really need or want. Yeah, so no, basically you don't need to have like a business plan or financial calculations ready when you want to come and talk to me. We can also we make these together. We I can sit down with you and look at the business plan template, what to write where. It's always go better to come and talk to a business advisor in advance. Also, it's very good to give like a whole picture of your situation to me, because that, the more you tell me, the better I can kind of give a perfect fit for you, or like a good answer to you, or a very clear kind of path for you. Well, I think one important thing that many people need to understand is that in order to start a business, you don't necessarily need to register a company. You can run your small business without yet registering a company. The important thing is, because we all live in Finland, is to inform your income to the tax administration. That's the most important thing you need to do. If you're making, if you have a hobby, I don't know, you are sewing things, you're fixing clothes for someone, or you knit clothes or something, that it's your hobby, you make decorations for the house. It's a small hobby, you're making income from it. No harm in that, no harm in doing your business without registering a company. But the most important thing, of course, is that you need to inform your income to the tax administration. And when you do that, you can say that that's my paid hobby that I'm doing. So that would be the essence, or the most important thing you need to do when you're doing business here in Finland. It doesn't need to necessarily be in a certain way. It's good, of course, to track, to see the transactions, to like track them in a certain way. Light entrepreneurship helps you with tracking, helps you with, kind of creating an official document, invoicing document, but even that is not necessary. So, if it's a small business, you don't need to necessarily register. Registration of a company is important when you want to hire someone, when you're operating in a licensed business. So let's say food sector, alcohol sector, taxi driving, and etc. And the third one, if you want to register the right of using the name, that you have a certain name, to your business, and you want to have that name kind of like owned by you within the Finnish territory. Those would be the most important kind of things to include. Also, of course, if you're making more than a certain amount of money, let's say you're making more than 15,000, at that point it gets a little bit messy. 15,000 per year. It's better to have than a business ID, of course. But in general, just like remember, if you want to try something, you can try it. You can do that without registering a company. Specifically, registration of the company is usually kind of possible for people with a permanent address here in Finland. So it could be student, could be you coming on a family basis. It could be, I don't know, you working here. As long as you have in the extract of the population, the from DVV, I think now it's called. It used to be Maistrati. So if you have in that extract of the population your address in the permanent address section, then you are allowed to register a company, because are considered as a permanent resident here in Finland. If your address in the temporary address section, then usually you cannot register a company, because you're not considered as a permanent resident here. At least you cannot register your private trader company, your own kind of like one person company. So that would be that's like kind of like generally speaking. The legitimacy of registering a business. But as I said, you know, you can make money. You of course need to understand that income that you're making from your part-time hobby will be influencing your student benefits or your unemployment benefits. There is a difference because when you are registering a company, what is important is not even that you're, let's say, permanent resident in Finland, but that you're a permanent resident in the EU. So, for example, if I would have a student, right, who wants to register a company in Finland, he's coming from Czech Republic, then in this case, he can register his company. He can even register it at the address of where he lives in Czech Republic, but he would only be able to do that in paper forms. So he would be able to register a company, but not through the online banking identification given usually by Finnish bank. So yes, possible, but in paper forms. From the students coming from out of EU zone, unfortunately, no, they're just like not able to register a company. They don't have this opportunity to them, not even in paper forms. In those cases, if you know, if I assess together with the client the situation and that they're really serious about their business and that they're going to be taking it forward, and it's, let's say, a startup or something, in those cases I would recommend to them starting a limited liabilities company. Why is that? Because when you're starting a limited liabilities company, if you have a partner or a board, another director on your board or another shareholder, well, actually, not a shareholder. Shareholder can be from anywhere. But if you have on your board a director coming from EU, so someone with the permanent address, then you can register together that company, limited liabilities company. But the private trader company, unfortunately, no. But you need to be really careful with limited liabilities companies because it does come with many obligations when you're registering that company. The company is not very easy to start. It's not very easy to liquidate as well. So when you are, registering a limited liabilities company, you need to understand that that's a serious business that you're starting, or that's a business you're really believing in, and that you're going to take it forward. So yes, if you're asking me, if there's any support, there is support, and the main support is consulting, advising, education. That would be the main support. Unfortunately, we don't provide any financial support just because we're not that institution. We're a part of the municipality. So there was only one time we were giving out some funds that was in the Corona crisis. So we were giving out funds uh, to private entrepreneurs that wasn't covered by other organizations because Business Finland and ely at that time did not provide any support to private traders. So that was specific program for that time. But usually financial support, no. But business advising support, definitely. So early stage startups usually come to me, especially if it's international people, they come to me. I guide them through the whole process. Yeah, apart from that, there's also financial advisors that we have in our team. In our business services team, we have around 30 people, and those have a very wide range of expertise. So if I'm, for example, specializing in the early stage, there are people who are specializing in creative industries. There are people who are specializing in financing, in buying businesses, in financing with investors, in financing as the public funding, So whatever situation your specific startup has, we have a specific business advisor to talk to. Yeah, so I would say that's the main one. We also have a space, a recent project, a business asthma project, is a project done by BusinessOulu. That is a space where startups are free to come, work, book meeting rooms for meetings, make workshops if they want, and many other services, as well as participate in the events that we're organizing. We have events happening mostly in Finnish. We sometimes try to organize them as well in English when the situation will allow, hopefully more. But yeah, that's the type of support you can get from BusinessOulu. I would say a few things. Before even like jumping into full-time business, test your product. like test it as, you know, as much as you can. Let's say if you don't have the ready product, try to do the, something that would kind of give the feeling of the product, the feeling of the services you want to provide, or maybe not exactly the product that you want to do, but like some kind of version of that product if you can. Or if it's just like, I don't know, product that you're bringing from somewhere, bring some of that and try to sell it already. Put yourself out there. Make a website, already. Try to launch some marketing on Instagram if it's, an online shop you're doing. Try to do that already. Don't be afraid of doing that. It's really will only be helpful for you and much better to test the market before you're actually, applying for, let's say, startup grant and registering a company and starting your business. Test your idea. Try to find a way to see, is there a need for your idea? That would be number one. And second is research. A lot of research and observation. Not many entrepreneurs really think that that's a part of the business journey, is to be a researcher, but it is a huge part of it. It's so important to go, let's say Google even, and just read, analyze, try to find information in Finnish, translate it into your language, understand the articles, understand the trends, understand the I don't know, business environment in Finland, because we are all coming in with our own biases and the ideas that like, oh, well, this product sells in my country, why wouldn't it sell in Finland? Whereas Finnish consumer is completely a different consumer. It's a very conscious consumer. It's a very picky and not very flexible consumer. So I would say a lot of research and understanding why your product would work here is very important. So yeah, research and testing. And even in Finnish language, yrittäjä comes from word yritys, so trying, and that's essentially what business is. It's always trying, seeing results, understanding mistakes, fixing them, trying again. Seeing results, fixing the mistakes, trying again. So it's always just like this loop of like testing, trying, research. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was fun.